Hi, Rob. How are you doing? Rob, can you hear me okay? Hmm. Hi, Rob. Can you hear me okay? I can't hear you, so I'm not sure if you have a speaker. I'm going to wait a few minutes to see if anybody else joins, and if not, then we'll get started.
Can you hear me?
I can now. Yes.
Magically, I can hear you now too.
Oh, fantastic. That's great. How are you doing tonight?
Doing all right. Doing all right. We had a small meeting, only 6 members, but we did get a continuing guest that joined tonight. So good thing we added one.
Congratulations. That's great news.
Yeah.
And do you have 20 members in your club right now? What's the number of members?
Right now, technically, with the new member, we have 16, but we're losing one.
Oh.
Who's moving to Arlington, so not gonna, he's gonna look for a club there.
Yeah.
And he's a great member too, so that's a tough loss for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then we have a couple other people that we think are on the fence that we'll have to address, but we think we can get back to 20.
Oh, fingers crossed.
So, yeah, I think we'll be good. So how about yourself?
I'm doing well. Our club is just had our open house and we just had a new member join, but we still need about 5 people. Hi, Davel. How are you doing? Good to see
I'm
you.
doing wonderful.
Excellent. So Davel is the president of my club, Texans Toastmasters. Rob, why don't you introduce yourself to Davel?
Davel, I'm Rob. I don't know if you can see me or not, whether maybe you can just hear me, but
yes.
I'm a member of Dallas Singles Toastmasters. I've been in Toastmasters for about 6.5 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And at Toastmasters education level, ACB, one project away from CL for the past 2 years, which is ridiculous. But I'm not all about the letters.
The DTM.
I like them for my club, but I'm not all that. I'm not like thriving and just being super aggressive to get to a DTM. If that comes to me in time, it will come to me. That's not my main goal, but I like the letters for my club. Anyway,
yes.
I'm currently residing in Ozona Grill and Bar while we do this session.
Fantastic. I'm so glad to hear that you guys decided to do it. Is anybody else watching or?
Not from here.
Okay.
Because we had a small turnout. Mark had emailed you asking about recordings and stuff like that. And
yes.
So he just said, well, they said they were going to record. And I noticed that I can record as well from what it showed on Zoom. It looked like I could record or it will record for me or something like that. So
that's true. Yeah, absolutely. So you could actually do a meeting and share it with your club.
Exactly. So
excellent.
Our president may be through his mobile app. He may be doing it. I'm not sure.
So we just had David join. David, can you introduce yourself, please?
Oh, sure. How do I do that?
Just say who you are, say which club you're from, what's your position.
I'm a VP of Ed from Toastronics.
Excellent.
Yes.
Perfect. Also on the call, we have Rob Giles from Dallas Singles Nightclub and also Deval Patel, who's the president of Texans Toastmasters. I think at this point we're going to go ahead and get started because we have limited time. I just need to keep the conference call to 30 minutes to respect your time. We're going to talk about logging into Toastmasters and getting onto Basecamp, and then also looking at our profile and some of the things that we'll be able to do there. So you guys are going to get a little sneak peek today of some of the features in Pathways. Have any of you seen the Pathways platform yet? Yes or no?
Just through the session at TLI.
At TLI. Okay,
So
that's
just
excellent.
Screenshots. Just
Okay.
the screenshots.
All right. Well, so we're going to go into a test site today. I don't have full access to Pathways yet because it hasn't rolled out in our region yet, but it is scheduled to roll out on February 13th. That is a definite now that it's going to roll out on February 13th. So we'll be able to get started right away on February 13th. So if you, can everybody see the Toastmasters screen right now? On my,
Yes.
Okay. Good,
Yep.
because I'm sharing it and I want to make sure you guys are able to see it. So I'm going to go into Pathways, and it's kind of a roundabout way. Like I said, this is a test site for the Pathways guides. It allows us to actually share our screen and get a feel for how the Pathways interface looks. You'll hear this word frequently. You notice it says login to Basecamp. The VP of Education is going to be considered the Basecamp manager, and the president and the secretary are the backup to the vice president of education, and so they also have access to Basecamp. And what Basecamp gives you access to is not only the Pathways interface for you to actually do whatever work you want to do in the Pathways program, but it also enables you as VP of Education, President, or Secretary to look at all of your members in your club and to see what path they're on, and to accept and approve any work that they're doing. So if they have completed a level in a path, or if they've completed an entire path, they need acceptance every step along the way to say, hey, I've completed this level, can you approve this? So the president, the secretary, and the vice president of education, they will all have the ability to approve these requests. Now, it falls solely on the vice president of education. It's their job. But there are times when the president and the secretary might step in and approve a request. And that might happen when the vice president of education needs their own path level to be approved because they can't approve their own work. And it also might happen if the vice president of education happens to be on vacation and they are not able to approve the requests of other club members. And so at that point, the president would step in, and if the president's not available, the secretary would step in to approve requests of club members. So this is going to be the new interface that we'll be using. Give my screen just a moment. Maybe I should turn off my camera so it's not hogging so much bandwidth. Here we go. All right, so we are in. This is the new Pathways platform. You see that there are 3 items up here at the top. One of the first things you'll want to do once you're in is to check compatibility and turn off any pop-up blocker. If you have a pop-up blocker, you'll want to turn it off because you won't be able to deal with the windows that pop up during your education program. There are tutorials for everything, so if you have questions that you need answers to right away, or if you just want to sit through tutorials, you can. Otherwise, coming to the home screen will show you tiles at the bottom where you can get started, and you'll notice the main title tile that's important is your education transcript. This is where you'll actually start working on your paths and working on levels within each path that you sign up for. Today, what we are going to talk about is setting up the profile. You'll notice in the upper right-hand corner, you'll have two icons, a gear icon and also another icon that it'll either have your picture or it'll have like a generic icon of a person where you can actually go into your account and look at your profile. So if I click on my picture, it's going to take me into my profile and give you an idea of the profile page. Now the profile page, it can only be seen by people in your club. So even though we're all Toastmasters, because we're in different clubs, we wouldn't be able to see necessarily everybody's profile. It's just the people that are in our club. And things that you can put in there are your picture, your name automatically will appear, including also your status within your club. Now at this time, Pathways hasn't rolled out into our region, so they have me in a sort of a generic club called Pathways Guides. So I am only showing up with other Pathways guides, so that's the only thing I'll be able to see are other Pathways guides. I won't be able to see any of my club members yet. And you can put in a summary about yourself, you can put in your interests, and this will enable your club members to get to know you better. Also in the profile, this is something that's kind of new that we haven't done before in Toastmasters. It gives you an opportunity to track the last time you did a role in your club. So if you look on the right-hand side of my screen, there's a column there that says AW counter, general evaluator, grammarian, speech evaluator, timer, Toastmaster, topics master. These are club roles, and personally, I can go in and I can indicate when was the last date that I served in each of these roles. And I actually surprised myself because I was looking in the Free Toast Host website to see when it was that I actually served in these roles. And I was surprised to see that I had not served as AW counter in my club at all. So you'll notice that there is no date listed there at all. These are self-input, and so people could technically put incorrect information. But as a base camp manager, you'll have the opportunity to help people with the correct dates. You can tell them what the correct date is that they last served by looking it up in Free Toast Host if you keep track of attendance at your clubs. Now, you'll notice that none of these fields are, I can't edit them from this screen. I'm just looking at my profile page, which I access by clicking on my picture in the upper right-hand corner. If I actually wanted to edit items on this page, including my roles that I did in my meeting, I would need to hit the gear icon in the upper right-hand corner and then go to my account. And that will allow me to get into my profile and actually edit any of these fields, including uploading a new picture if I wanted to do that. Toastmasters doesn't automatically put in a picture. You get to add your picture. You can simply hover your mouse pointer over the picture and then upload a picture, change or delete what's available there. You set your time zone, select your signature that you'd like, and then as you can see here, at this point, I can actually indicate the last time I served in each of these roles. And as you can see, I served as Toastmaster earlier this week. Does anybody have any questions about these roles and this profile page?
So are we doing by ourselves or?
Yes, you do it by yourself. Yep. This is something you actually have to manually input. This website doesn't interact or interface with Free Toast Host or Easy Speak. So it's up to you to actually go in as an individual and say, hey, this was the last time I served as AW counter, or this is the last time I served as general evaluator. And some people might choose to not input information at all, but it's advisable that you do put information in about the last time you served a role, mainly because when you start working in the paths, at each level, there will be a requirement that you complete certain meeting roles. For instance, I think in order to move into level 3, you have to have served as Toastmaster at least once, speech evaluator, and I think also maybe general evaluator. So there are at least a few roles, meeting roles, that will be required in order for you to move into a next level. And so it would be useful for you to track that information and input that information into these fields. And as base camp managers, as VPs of education, we could actually look at our members' profiles and see this information and see when they last served in that role and approve projects if they've actually served in the specific role that's needed for completing a particular level. But
So
it is,
question again.
it's manually entered.
Okay. So if we do manually entered, somebody has to approve it, correct?
That is correct, yes. Oh, somebody doesn't have to approve this. So, for instance, if one of our members in our club they served as odd counter, they can go in and they could put in whatever they want, and that nobody has to approve that. They could put whatever they want in, whether it's correct or not. So it's up to us as base camp managers to keep track of when people actually serve roles. This is a way to help members track themselves. But for me personally, when I track my members, I look on Free Toast Host. That's the website that we use for our club. And every time a meeting happens, I go home with the agenda and I go into Free Toast Host and I update the agenda and indicate whether people actually attended and served in that role or not, because I can run a role report later on that says this member served on this particular date. So it's a shame that there's no interface that interacts between the Free Toast Host website and this Toastmasters website, because this is just manually entered here, and it's up to the members to actually submit accurate data, and nobody is going to approve or disapprove what they actually enter into these fields. Does that answer your question, Dale?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Any other questions about this profile page?
Andrea, I have a question. This is Rob.
Yes.
If you go back to the actual just viewing page, it
Yes.
looked like there was a button there that had a set of ellipses, like an ellipsis button.
This one right here.
Is that a way to go directly to the thing to change it? Or can you hit those edit buttons there on the right-hand side?
So the edit buttons would allow me to change my summary and my interests, but it wouldn't allow me to change this information.
Okay.
This information can only be changed by going up to the very far corner here.
Gotcha.
And this actually will take us to feedback requests, which is a different page entirely.
Okay. All right.
And then these are specific to the summary
Gotcha.
and the interests. But
Thank
it's
you.
good that you noted those. Other questions about this page? All right, we'll move on. Let's talk about feedback and our e-portfolio. Sadly, my e-portfolio is empty, but I will show it to you. So in the e-portfolio, this is where your badges and your documents live. The badges are things that you will receive digitally based on completion of a path or completion of a level. So each time you complete a level, you'll get a badge. Each time you complete a path, you'll get a badge. In addition to those level and path badges, there are some badges that your club members can award to you for being innovative or being collaborative, being a team player, or being inspirational. So you can actually award a badge and provide some feedback to individuals who have done a good job. Like I said, I don't have any badges, but I do have some feedback, so I'll show you the feedback page. On the feedback page, you can see that the Chief Pathways Guide, Judy Binder, actually sent me some feedback, and this is a nice feature that's something that we haven't been able to do electronically anyways, is give feedback to each other in our clubs. Usually we give feedback just written or oral within our club, but not digitally, something where it can be tracked long-term. So you could go home from a meeting, or even at the meeting, you could log on with your smartphone or your laptop or your tablet, and you could give members feedback saying, hey, you did a great job serving in this role tonight, or thanks for chairing the speech contest, or spearheading the open house. Those types of things you could actually give feedback to. And she could have also given me a badge, but she chose to just give me a feedback, some text here. I know. Can you tell I'm a little jolted by this? So I could actually give some feedback to another individual, and I'm going to do that right now. So if you look up here in the upper right-hand corner, there is a search field, and I can look for anybody that's in my club. And again, right now, since Pathways hasn't rolled out in our region, my club is not active. The club that I'm technically in is called Pathways Guides, so I only have access to other Pathways guides. And one of the Pathways guides happens to be Lisa Curry, our program quality director. So I'm going to do a search for Lisa. And she comes up. And then I can actually give her some feedback. And you can see here on the right, I can actually award her a badge as well. So let's take a look at the badges that are available. There's collaborative, courageous, shows tremendous ability to face fears, exceptional, contributes extra efforts, innovative, contributes creative ideas, and inspirational, inspires others to take action. So I'm going to give her exceptional. So I just click on it, and then I'm going to provide some feedback. Thanks for speaking at the Texans Toastmasters Club open house. And then I'm going to post my feedback. And so she will have her badge and her feedback, and that will remain in her account. Any questions about feedback?
Can you just have it? Can you just have the feedback go to an individual as opposed to everyone?
Yes, there is an option. I did not select that option, but when I was typing in the feedback, I could have selected who got to see it. Yes,
Gotcha.
I could have just said, hey, only Lisa can see this, or Lisa Curry and her managers, which I think is world headquarters, Toastmasters world headquarters, and then obviously everyone, which is what is the default, and that's what happened here. So anybody who goes to her e-portfolio or her feedback page, they would actually see this because I selected everyone. They see what she got. That's her beautiful badge. And there's her feedback. Any questions about feedback in the e-portfolio?
So the way we are giving feedback at our club on the paper, so we can give feedback online here now?
Yes, you can. Absolutely. Yeah. If you have internet access and, for instance, a smartphone with you at your club meeting, you could actually give feedback right there at the club meeting, just logging into Toastmasters International and logging into the Pathways base camp. And then, like I said, go up into the upper right-hand corner, search for the member in your club, and then go to either feedback or their portfolio and award them a badge and some feedback. Yep, it's that easy. And then that will be tracked. Another feature about ePortfolio that is helpful is the documents page. Everybody will be given 6 folders where you can store items. So you can actually upload documents. And some of the documents, well, I don't think I have access at this time. Well, this is Lisa's, that's why. Let me go to my account. Go. So everybody gets 6 folders that they can actually store files into, which might be your evaluations. You might store your evaluations in these folders. Anytime you receive an evaluation in Club, you can take a picture of it, or you can scan it in and upload that PDF document or that image, and then store them here so that you have those evaluations forever. And you don't have to worry about moving and losing your evaluation and your feedback. And then that enables you to look at that information later on and always refer back to it so that you can continue to improve. So this is a nice feature. They're not going to allow us to create subfolders, but it is nice that they actually provided several folders that we can actually store our evaluations and any other supporting documents that we might need for completing our paths. So that is all I have for you tonight. I was just going to talk about these specific areas of the online profile of our Pathways program. Our next virtual support session will be on Sunday, and on Sunday I'll cover some additional information. I'll go into our education transcript and talk about that. Before we end tonight, I'll ask you one last chance. Do you guys have any questions for me?
I have 2 questions, if I might.
Okay.
Okay, one with the ePortfolio and the folders.
Yes.
Who has access to those folders?
I believe the member themselves has access, and then it's unclear, but I would think that maybe your Basecamp manager may have access to that information as well.
And does Toastmasters International have access to those as well?
That's a good question.
I mean,
I wasn't
don't
able.
know is fine, but just I thought I'd ask.
That's a good question. I want to say that. Let's see here, because when I was in Lisa's, I could see that she had folders, but yeah, I wasn't able to.
Right.
I'm not able to see anything that's in her. I don't see 6 folders listed there,
Right.
so I don't have access to that information. So I'm guessing that we have the ability to limit the access to that.
Right. Okay. Another question in regard to sending comments or badges to people.
Mm-hmm.
Who has the ability to do that? Is it any member, or is it only the 3 officers, that would be accessible to boot camp? Who can send badges and comments to individuals in their club?
That's a very good question. The people who can send badges and feedback are people within your club. So if you're a member of a club, then only the members of that club can send you feedback. So right now, the club that I'm in happens to be called Pathways Guide. So I can only send feedback to other Pathways Guides, and only other Pathways Guides can send feedback to me. So even though Deval is in my club, right now I'm logged into Basecamp as a Pathways Guide, not as a Texans Toastmaster. So I would not be able to send feedback to Deval, and Deval would not be able to send feedback to me. That's
right.
It's
if you were in the same club, even though if one of you wasn't an officer, you'd still be able to send feedback.
Correct. Even if you're not an officer, any member of that club can send you feedback. That is correct. Now, there is one caveat that I should share. There is a possibility of belonging to more than one club. Do any of you belong to more than one club?
Not really.
Not really? Okay. So people who belong to more than one club, apparently when they log in, they have to choose which club it is that they're logging into. And so when they log in, they set their Basecamp manager, they say, I am logging into Texans Toastmasters as opposed to Toastronics. So when they set that they're logging into Texans Toastmasters, then they would only be able to access the members in that particular club, and they would actually have to log out of that club and then tell Basecamp manager, I want to log in now as Toastronics, and then be able to access the members for the Toastronics club. It's a bit clunky in my opinion. toggling between the two clubs, but that's how Toastmasters International has set it up.
Right.
I think that's how the software that they picked to use this is. It's a bit clunky in itself, but and it took them so long to get this going, and it's a little archaic. But we work with what we got. But
That's right.
my question is about each of these sessions. I see that you're recording all these, I'm assuming, and then they're going to be available for everyone to watch. Is that?
Yes, that's the hope. Yes. So I created a page actually on the Texans website.
Okay.
The Texans Toastmasters webpage. Did you get the email about that? Maybe not.
I probably didn't read through all of it. Maybe I have a bad habit of just reading the stuff that I think is relevant and then skipping over some stuff. So
sure. So on the Texans Toastmasters Club website, there is a link to Pathways, and
okay.
I have actually listed an option for submitting your Pathways questions. So you can tell your club members to go here to submit questions, find answers to Pathways questions that have already been asked, and then attend virtual support sessions if you need the schedule. I've posted the schedule here, and I'm planning on posting all of the recorded virtual sessions at this location as well.
Okay. Good.
That's where I would go, is the Texans Toastmasters Club website, and then go to the Pathways.
I was going to just reiterate, when I first came on tonight, I was telling Andrea that through the Zoom app, you're able to record, or at least I was able to record on my laptop the session. So I'm showing up in the left-hand corner of mine that it's currently recording this session.
Fantastic.
So that's an option for anybody that's on the session.
If members want to members who are jumping in on the session, if they want to record it and replay it, yeah, that's a great idea. That's fantastic. All right. Well, I will leave you guys tonight. Have a good night. Thank you so much for joining me. And again, we will meet on Sunday at 4:15, same platform, the Zoom platform. Check your email. I will send you a reminder and a link to the Zoom platform. And again, if you aren't able to access the full version, you can download the app on your phone, or you can simply just call in. Although it's better if you can do the visual, because you get to actually see the new Pathways interface. Thank you guys. I appreciate you coming on and asking questions. Have a good night.
All right. Thank you, Andrea. You too.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you. Good night. Bye-bye. Andrea, are you there?
Yes, I am. Can you still hear me?
I want to talk to you. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Yes. So I was thinking in our next meeting, I was thinking to do some award ceremony for our Toastmasters, because we need to inspire our team. Like a lot of people, they're working and they are not putting the 100% over there. So I was thinking, like, when we go for the conference, we get a lot of motivation because everybody gets something different. They get awarded, right? But at club level, if we can do something, maybe because the year just ended, 2017, who was the person who did maximum attendance, or one of the oldest employee, or the most enthusiastic Toastmaster of the club, something like that.
That sounds like fun. That's a great idea.
In our club.
Yeah, sure. I like that idea. Okay.
Right?
Yeah, it sounds good. Let's brainstorm some ideas. So we'll have to do this offline though, because I'm reaching the maximum amount of time that I can use this platform for. So perhaps we can chat via email. Does that sound good? But I like your idea.
Yeah, that's fine.
I think it's great.
So you want to call me?
Yeah, absolutely.
I can call you.
All right, sounds good. Talk to you in a few minutes. Bye.
Okay. Bye.